First of all, I'm Houston Britton. I'm the president and CEO of the Pryor Area Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you out today, especially the first timers, and we'll get into a little bit in just a little bit. But we've got a really tight schedule today for our guest of honor, so we've got to get underway. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bless the food, and after we bless the food, I'm going to ask our Lieutenant Governor if he wants to walk up and grab his plate first, because he'll be speaking probably while we're eating. And then from that point, we'll ask all of our sponsor tables to go up, and then everyone else can follow in behind. It's a pretty fast process, and so we hope that you enjoy the meal. So if you'll bow your heads with me, please. Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we're so very thankful for this day, thankful for the opportunity to come together as a community, as businesses, Father, and as citizens of this great state and this county. Father, we're thankful for the opportunities that are provided to us and for opportunities that lay forth in front of us. Father, we're thankful for this food. We ask a special blessing upon it that may nourish our bodies, Father. We ask that thy Spirit always be with us, lead us, guide us, and direct us. Watch over us as we go home safely, Father, and keep us in mind throughout the week and bless us. And we say and ask these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Again, I'm Houston Britton, the president and CEO of the Pryor Area Chamber of Commerce, and we welcome you out today. We're glad to see that the room is full. Lieutenant Governor, you bring a crowd, but Mr. Dave Stewart has got the lead so far on how many people have showed up. So, but you're a close second. So I've asked Mr. Stewart to always show up so we can get somebody to come out. So. But we appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Again, welcome. As the president and CEO of the Pryor Area Chamber of Commerce, if you look at Pryor, we got a lot of things going on right now. And the future is bright for us, especially with this wonderful industrial park we have here, all the businesses moving to town, our Main Street program, all of our nonprofits, our city, our brand new mayor. So we've got a lot of things happening in this region, in this community. And so it's wonderful to have our Lieutenant Governor here today to not only witness and see it, and he's very aware of it, but also to speak to us today. And so we're very excited about that. But first and foremost, I want to thank Mid-America Industrial Park for allowing us to use this wonderful facility. They allow us in every single one of our meetings. So thank you guys very much. And brand new sound system, by the way. So very happy about that. So thank you. I'd like to thank our presenting sponsors today, GRDA and MUB. They're sitting right here, so thank you guys very much. And our American Staffing Corp. They're our presenting sponsors today, so thank you guys very much. I'd also like to thank our table sponsors, Mid-America Industrial Park, Health, Heating, and Air. They're right over here. Mid-America's here. Northeast Oklahoma Electric Cooperative. They're right there. And then also Grove Area Chamber of Commerce. So thank you guys for coming all the way up here to our wonderful neck of the woods is what we call it. So thank you guys. I'd also like to thank Mid-America Grill. They're the one that provided the meal for us today. So if you enjoyed that meal, please give them a round of applause. The Chamber cannot operate without our board members. We have a very good board. We have 15 board members. Not all of them are here, but if you are a board member today, we would ask you to stand to be recognized, please. 1, 2. We have 2 here. 3. So thank you guys. If you're a member of our advisory board, I don't see any, but if you're our advisory board, if you're here, we don't see any. Okay, so thank you guys very much. You guys keep me in check. You help manage this process and manage this organization from above, and I certainly appreciate everything that you do for me. I'd like to welcome our elected officials. So we have Derek Sisney from Congressman Jasper Keene's office, right back here at the lonely table with me. And Josh, you were offered to sit at another table, so I appreciate that you want to sit with me because that would have been weird, me sitting by myself. Second of all, we have Yolanda Thompson, our Mays County Assessor. She's also a board member, so in the very back. We have Lori Blue, our Treasurer for the City of Pryor. Lori, you here? Thought I seen her name on the list, so I didn't want to miss her. And then, of course, we have our mayor. Mayor Zach Doyle for here in Pryor Creek. Did I miss any elected officials? As you can tell, I was running back and forth like crazy. Okay, thank you. So thank you guys for being here today. I'd also like to thank our staff. So we're missing one staff today. You might not notice that she's here. And so I'm a little shook up right now, but our dear friend Yvette is in the ICU at Hillcrest in Tulsa. Possible stroke. We don't know. We're working on it. So she and I had just sat down at my desk 2 days ago to talk about how stress can kill people and how we need to figure out ways to relieve that stress and to be able to take on what we can handle and not so much. And she and I both are people that want to change the world. We want to help everybody. But ultimately it gets to your health. And this same thing happened to my dear wife as well, but only it was her heart. So as a message to you and as in response to Yvette, I would say try to find ways to relax. Try to find ways to not have so much stress in your lives and to not take life for granted, because you just never know. Because she and I was speaking last night at 10 o'clock, and then the next thing I know, I get a call. So please, please, please keep her in your prayers. And that's Yvette Barham. She's our marketing director and communications director. And then I'd also like to thank Emily Rain. She's here. She's our administrative assistant, and she was the young lady that checked you in when you came in. So thank you guys to your staff and for what you do. I'd like to also recognize our nonprofits. We have the Main Street program here, Jenny Fave and her group. Do we have Mays County Hope here? Any other nonprofits that are here today? We always like to recognize because we want and we'll always partner with our nonprofits here in Pryor.
Grand Mental Health.
Grand Mental Health. Thank you guys for being here.
Rolling Stone Museum.
Rolling Stone?
Willard.
Oh, Rolling Stones. Okay, Willard Stone Museum. Nice. I was about to get excited. I'm excited that you're here, though. So thank you, guys. Any other nonprofits? All right. Anyone here for the first time? Oh my goodness. In essence of time, I'm not going to have you stand up and say your name and all that stuff. You'll probably be happy that I'm not going to make you do that. But we want to welcome you here today and appreciate you attending our event. So thank you. All right. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest of honor. Matt Pinnell was elected as the 17th Lieutenant Governor of Oklahoma on November the 6th, 2018. Pinnell is the president of the Oklahoma State Senate and serves on multiple constitutional boards and commissions, including serving as chairman of the Oklahoma Tourism Commission and Route 66 Centennial Commission. He has set his lieutenant governor agenda focus on workforce and economic development issues. Pinnell is the chief marketer of Oklahoma and spends much of his time promoting Oklahoma. In partnership with the Oklahoma Department of Commerce, he launched a talent recruiting campaign targeting the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. He also works to retain and attract companies to the state by hosting events throughout the year, including the annual Lieutenant Governor's Turkey Hunt, a 2-week event that showcases Oklahoma to prospective out-of-state companies and site selection representatives. I went on that invitation list there. As an entrepreneur himself, Pinnell champions small business growth. He advises the Oklahoma Department of Commerce on small business growth, entrepreneurship, and workforce development. In 2022, he launched a Look at Oklahoma Career Tech, a video interview series that showcases the education and employment opportunities that the state's career tech system provides. Pinnell launched a statewide rebrand in 2020, a campaign that has streamlined state agencies' processes and saved taxpayer dollars. Matt has an advertising degree from Oral Roberts University. He lives in Tulsa with his wife of 22 years and 4 children. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell.
Well, thank you so much. This is a great turnout. Yeah, they're not here for me. They're here for you, Houston. They're here for the food. Great food. That was better food than I usually eat at a chamber. You can please pass that along to the team. I've eaten all sorts of things across 77 counties in Oklahoma. That was good food. So thanks for letting me eat. As the slide kind of said, I'm here to kind of give you an update, the state of tourism and economic growth, or tourism and commerce. And the first thing that I want you to hear from me is those go hand in glove. You can't talk about tourism without talking about economic development. You can't talk about economic development in Oklahoma in particular without talking about tourism. And please hear me on that. They have to work together. And so it's great to see the Main Street program here in Pryor. It's great to see Grove here, where I spend a lot of time. I am a Grand Laker. I'm a South Sider. I'm on the south side of that lake. I guess that's okay. I heard a few boos. I heard a few. But yes, we've got a place in Disney. You may have heard of it. And I guess I should also mention I'm the first lieutenant governor. And this is a wild stat. I'm the first lieutenant governor in state history from Northeast Oklahoma. So I'm the 17th lieutenant governor in the state. George Nye, you may know that name. George Nye was lieutenant governor for a very, 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 very long time, before we had term limits. So I'm only the 17th lieutenant governor, but I'm the first lieutenant governor from Tulsa, from Northeast Oklahoma. So I can get to you a little quicker. You know, I mean, if someone calls me in Mid-America or someone calls me Main Street, I can get here in under an hour, and I love that. And I'm sensitive to that as well. I mean, I want you to hear me on that. I understand that we have 77 counties, not just 2 counties. Can I get an amen? Because we do. We have 77 counties, and if we're just cooking in 2 counties, and believe me, Oklahoma City, if you didn't know, Oklahoma City is now the 20th largest city in America. Tulsa, you may have heard of that town too. Tulsa, growing pretty rapidly well over 1 million people in the Tulsa area. I believe that's good for us, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But we're not going to be the best state to live, work, and raise a family if we're just growing in Tulsa and Oklahoma City. It doesn't work that way. Economic development doesn't work that way. And what is exciting, and I mean this, I am blessed to be lieutenant governor in 2024 and not 1984 Oklahoma. I mean, we can't forget how far we have come since the 80s in Oklahoma. Those of us that were raised in the state of Oklahoma and remember those days, we've come a long way. And one of the reasons is because we have invested in ourselves. So you can't have a conversation about this amazing tourism industry that we have in Oklahoma or other economic development across the state without telling the story about the investment that we've made here. Because if we had not made the investment that we've made in Pryor, if we've not made the investment we've made in other communities around the state of Oklahoma, naturally, yes, we're an amazing tourism state, due in large part to our sovereigns. But that alone is going to pull in a lot of tourists, no doubt about it. But we've built a lot of things. We are physically building a lot of things inside the state. And because of that, if you build it, they do show up. Mayors will know this. City managers know this. If you build it, they will show up. And then they'll do something that every mayor in the state of Oklahoma has to have. And that's create sales tax dollars. And I thought I'd certainly get an amen from the mayor on that. Because taxpayers, thank you, Mayor. The taxpayers in the state of Oklahoma, and I've been delivering this message for 5 years now, Mayor. There are still far too many taxpayers in the state that do not realize how sales tax dependent we are. Okay? And if you don't know, you need to know. We live or die on sales tax. I just drop the mic right there. We live or die on sales tax in the state. I could argue that we are too sales tax dependent as a state. Because communities that are not creating sales tax, that maybe a tourist coming to town, maybe Rocklahoma, you create a whole lot of sales tax during Rocklahoma. I know that probably comes with some growing pains over that weekend, but they spend a lot of money. A lot of money. And guess what? That money stays here, and then they go home. We love that kind of money, right? That money stays here, and it pays for what? It pays for your police and fire departments. Safe communities are growing communities. Safe communities are growing communities. And we back the blue in the state of Oklahoma. We do across the state of Oklahoma. If you don't have an adequately funded police and fire department, good luck getting families to move to Pryor. Okay? So I'm that blunt about it because when you're in the grocery store, when you're at church, or anywhere else in this community, and you have one of your neighbors or someone that you go to church with say, well, why do we want this development? Why do we want to promote tourism? Why do we want people to go to the museum? You're able to tell them, well, because I support our police and fire departments. And many of them will say, well, what do you mean? Well, that's what pays for that police and fire department. That's what gives the money, the resources for your mayor, your city council, your city managers to be able to fund everything else that we want to fund. And so I've been on that soapbox for a very long time, but it's because I learned about it when I was running for lieutenant governor. Because when I went around the state and I said, listen, I'm running on a platform of tourism and economic development because that's what I ran on. And I won all 77 counties and got Republicans and Democrats because I think we should be able to rally around that as a state. You know, that should be a nonpartisan issue, for goodness sakes, to be, again, providing opportunity for our homegrown boys and girls to be able to find a job here. But I'd have a mayor look me in the face and say, listen, I love what you're talking about, but all I want in my town is a Chick-fil-A. And I'm like, what do you mean? I mean, I love Jesus chicken too, but why do you want a Chick-fil-A? I said, well, I'll tell you why I want Chick-fil-A, because Chick-fil-A will create a bunch of sales tax revenue in Weatherford, Oklahoma, or Stillwater, Oklahoma, and I gotta have sales tax. I mean, every 30 days, like I'm tracking, like how much money are we creating this month? And it was just a light bulb that went off, because every community that I went to, you know, Chick-fil-A, a Walmart, something to create a bunch of sales tax revenue. And what I've been trying to do over the last 5 years is work with our Main Street partners. What do we really, strategically, what do we want in Pryor? Strategically, what do we want in Guyman? Because I get it that at the end of the day, we got to be creating sales tax revenue. We got to be able to fund our communities. But what makes sense in communities as well? I think we should be putting a more strategic plan together when it comes to what do we want in town. Obviously, what you have the 8th largest industrial park in the country, in the world or in the country? World. Okay, that's quite the flex that you have here. It's the only mega site in the state. Okay, so think about that. Not only is it the 8th largest in the world, that's great, but it's the only one we got in the state of Oklahoma. Tulsa doesn't have a mega site, not anywhere close to as big as we got at Mid-America. Oklahoma City is very jealous of what you all have here in your backyard. And a talking point that you need to use, and I've talked to Mid-America about this as well, you've made every other legislator, is the press here, by the way, before I say this? And that's fine, they can run with this, because this is, Mid-America certainly should run with this. Yeah, you hired that one, okay. You've made every other legislator in the state really cranky. Because all they hear about at 23rd and Lincoln at the state capitol is about Mid-America Industrial Park. Well, what? I'm so tired about hearing about Mid-America. I'm so tired about hearing about all these jobs and all these companies. And heck, we just heard it time and time again. And we just said, listen, we get it. And because of that, the legislature, 2 legislative sessions ago, said, listen, we're going to invest into the other industrial parks around the state of Oklahoma. And so they created something called PREP funds, P-R-E-P, PREP funds. $250 million was appropriated, put into a fund. The Department of Commerce is going around the state of Oklahoma, looking at other industrial parks, maybe a hazmat facility, extending a runway, because we do have 99 other industrial parks. They're not anywhere close to as big as Mid-America, so don't worry. But it is true. I mean, we have to be investing in our other industrial parks around the state as well. So you can say, Pryor America, Pryor Oklahoma, because of you, you've been able to make a $250 million impact across the state of Oklahoma. So congratulations. That is because of you, because of the competition that a lot of legislators around the state said, listen, we have an industrial park too. And that's true. It's never going to be the 8th largest industrial park in the entire world. And what I just saw, again, I'm up here all the time, so I see what's going on up here. But just got another look around as far as what we are doing, and will be some future announcements in the area as well. But I think that's good. Again, rising tide's going to lift all boats. That competition, I believe, is healthy. And again, that goes back to the investment that we have to make in our state. So a couple other areas when it comes to tourism. I'll pivot very quickly to commerce, but I really would love to get some feedback from you to answer any questions that you have. You may have some questions about an amusement park in the area that you may have heard about too. So I can answer your questions on that as well. But a couple areas that I do have to talk about when it comes to tourism and tourism growth that I believe Pryor, Northeast Oklahoma should continue to be leaning in on. Certainly we have growth here. My theme of my office has been playing to our strengths, as I said. We have 200 man-made lakes in the state of Oklahoma. That is more man-made lakes than any other state in the country. So we have more shoreline. I know we don't have an ocean, I get it, but we do have more shoreline than almost any state in the country as well. We've built 3 new marinas total, though, in the state over the last 40 years. So that kind of, again, it's a good, well, not a good story, but it's a story you need to know that the state of Oklahoma, I don't believe, has been keeping up in investing in the core strengths of the state of Oklahoma. And when we have, again, 200 man-made lakes, beautiful lakes, I mean, top 10 bass fishing lake, obviously Bassmaster Classic, just at Grand Lake, a huge economic impact for this part of the state, even into the Tulsa area. When you have that type of natural asset to a state, if we, the state of Oklahoma, are not taking advantage of it, then we're losing. Or we're going to lose out to Arkansas, Kansas, and yes, that state down there to the south of us. And that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to me that, the gifts from the good Lord, as I call them, we have these natural landscapes. Certainly, you talk about our oil and gas industry as well, because I think that's a gift from the good Lord as well. We have these things, but if we're not going to take advantage of them, then we're going to start losing to these other states in the middle of the country as well. And that has been a commitment as Lieutenant Governor, talking to our Department of Tourism, and the Department of Tourism making a bigger investment at Grand Lake and every other lake that we have across the state of Oklahoma that punches way above their weight. Because if you didn't know, at Grand Lake is a good example. I'd say 10 years ago, there were 15 or so full-time fishing guides at Grand Lake. You got over 70 today. Some of that due to you can snag a prehistoric dinosaur, as Amanda knows, at Grand Lake. The spoonbill craze that we are on. The Japanese tourists that come to Oklahoma, yes, Japanese tourists that are filling up Grand Lake, and then they go hit Route 66 right down the road. If we don't take advantage of the most famous road in the entire world, that would be Route 66, and only one of 2 states where you can snag a prehistoric dinosaur, again, we're losing a lot of sales tax revenue for this mayor and for your town. And we shouldn't overcomplicate that. That's why I created the Oklahoma Fishing Trail when I got elected your lieutenant governor. So you see those Oklahoma Fishing Trail signs in this area, you're welcome. I created that. Now, again, what necessarily all my idea as a politician. I know that's shocking to hear that I'm giving credit to somebody else. But there's a guy named Tom Kimball that sat on the GRDA board. Where's GRDA? Right here. You all know Tom Kimball. Tom came to me when I was, again, hustling around the state and said, listen, there's not even a sign off the turnpike that says Grand Lake, top 10 bass fishing lake in the country. And I think we should create some sort of fishing trail. I said, I love the idea, and I pledged to you, Tom, if I actually get elected to this position, within the first year in office, I'm going to create the Oklahoma Fishing Trail, because I think it's a genius idea. And we did, thanks to ODOT. ODOT gets a lot of credit on this because they helped us put up all these signs. We work with our wildlife department to create these different loops around the state. We've generated over $45 million over the last 3 years just telling people to come to Oklahoma and go fishing. I mean, again, it's sometimes it's not hard. We make it harder than it has to be, right? That's just people getting hotel rooms, yes, probably buying some adult beverages and going out and fishing on. It is the nation's best fishing trail because our fishing is so diverse in the state of Oklahoma. So I'm kind of giving you a look under the hood of some of the things that I've been involved in and that we've been involved in at our Department of Tourism, because for far too long we've just not been taking advantage of just the things that are already here. And that really leads me to, again, the biggest strength, truthfully, that we have in the state of Oklahoma when it comes to tourism is what has been here from day one, and this is Native America. We have 39 sovereign nations inside of one state. I mean, that's the mic drop. I mean, anytime I speak outside the state of Oklahoma, and I speak at conferences all over the country, all over the world, I say, listen, I'm Matt Pinnell. I'm a lieutenant governor in Oklahoma, home to 39 sovereign nations. And you see eyeballs like, what is going on inside the state of Oklahoma? That is a strength of our state, ladies and gentlemen. The Fortune 100 companies that are never leaving, by the way, on top of everything else that they provide and help the state of Oklahoma with. Yes, they have the financial ability today in 2024 to be building hospitals and roads and bridges as well. And that is an added benefit for the state of Oklahoma. But historically in the state, tourism is the number 3 industry in the state of Oklahoma. That is because of our Native American heritage and history. People can come and they can, the true Western experience from the Trail of Tears to the Chisholm Trail. You have international tourists flocking to America and flocking to Oklahoma to see America. I mean, that is the sales job that we right here in Pryor should be making. That if you want to see America, you have to see Oklahoma. If we can't bottle up and sell freedom, then we're not going to be able to sell anything. And that is absolutely what tourists are looking for today in America. They want a Main Street, again, Main Street, they want a cute Main Street lined with American flags and some smiling faces. You can't get that in a lot of other states right now. There's a lot of tourists that are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And businesses and anti-business states that are sick and tired of being sick and tired. That are looking at states in the middle of the country and looking at Oklahoma for the very first time. And so when you see that historic brown Route 66 sign that we've all grown up with and say, well, you know, Route 66, I mean, what does that really mean? Well, it means freedom to international tourists. It's why the Czech Republic Route 66 Association, yes, there is such a thing. That's why they have been in Oklahoma every single year for the last 34 years. The Czech Republic Route 66 Association. They fly their motorcycles over. They do, and you all probably have seen some of this. And I took them all to breakfast right before COVID hit. And some of you all may have heard this story if you've heard me give a speech before. And I said, Zeke is his name. He's the chairman. He owns a Route 66 radio show in the Czech Republic. I said, what is it about this road that is such a, you come every year? And he said, well, it's very, very simple. There was no such thing as a tourist in the Czech Republic 35 years ago. We were in a communist regime 35 years ago. How quickly we forget. And when we would watch television shows and movies about America, this mother road, Route 66, that was America to us. And so when we were freed from communism, the very first trip we took to America was to Oklahoma. Now, that's powerful, folks. I mean, that's the stuff that gives you the goosebumps, right? What I'm getting at, if we're not talking about Route 66 and freedom and the most famous road in the world, then again, shame on us. Shame on us. Because again, even if you're not right off Route 66, you're going to get people spoken off and going to lakes and coming over here to other museums that we have. And it's why today, because we've been doubling down on a lot of the things that we do well in the state, last year, the last 2 years actually combined, the last 2 years have been the best years we've ever had with our tourism industry. Historic years in 2021 and another historic year in 2022. And it's because when we can have a sovereign nation, again, combined with the state of Oklahoma and our local communities, we can't lose when we work together, when we partner together. And that's the only way that I'm going to lead my lieutenant governor office. And the partnership that I've been able, particularly when it comes to tourism, with our sovereigns and with our cities, has been very special over the last 5 years. But that has to continue. It has to continue. There has to be a continual commitment from our Main Street program at the state level, again, to the Main Streets programs that we have across the state. So real quick, let me pivot to commerce, because again, the front door to all the other commerce that you want is tourism. It all starts with a trip a lot of times. You know, someone comes here for a tourism, someone comes from a softball tournament, I don't care what it is. If we can get them to Oklahoma, we can then do what? We can then sell. Because we sell very well right now. Because you need to know the state of commerce. If you want to know the state of commerce in Oklahoma right now, the one word that I would use is momentum. And it's because of the net migration to the middle of the country that is happening. And it's not just me preaching this, okay? So census migration data came out last month. Between June of 2022 to July of 2023, Oklahoma was number 9 in the country in net migration growth to Oklahoma. to the country. Number 9 in the country. One of the fastest net migration growth states in the country. So that means people leaving Oklahoma versus people that move to Oklahoma over that year-long time period. Some of them right here. Even better, as an Oklahoma politician, I'm able to stand up in front of you and say, not only that, but more Texans moved to Oklahoma than Oklahomans that moved to Texas during that same time period. That is a round of applause moment, please. Yes, it's okay. It's okay that Texans are moving home. I call that repentance. They're coming home. Because I'm telling you, folks, so it's a combination of two things. You got baby boomers retiring, they're selling their homes in California, and they got a big pile of cash, and they want to move to a friendly, affordable state. We're not cheap, we're affordable. Don't ever use that word cheap. That's when I start knocking on your door to change your marketing efforts. We're affordable and we are friendly. That is a brand that Oklahoma has, and that is why a lot of baby boomers that control over 78% of all disposable income in this country, Mayor, they're moving to Oklahoma. And there's going to be a whole lot more stories being written on this in future years in Oklahoma. I'm just kind of starting to tease this out to you, is that Oklahoma is becoming a very popular state for baby boomers. So we need them in our schools as well, volunteering, Superintendent. I'd love to get them into Pryor, because I need these baby boomers being involved in our community, involved in the workforce as well. But we need that next generation talent as well. I get it. Again, staff, you all are going to be very busy in Pryor over the next few years, this staffing organization right here, because of what we're building here. But that's why we have this marketing campaign in Dallas as well. And here's why. In less than 1 year, Dallas will be the 3rd largest city in America. Dallas will be larger than Chicago in less than a year. Which means what? Dallas is full. So all my buddies that I graduated with, they all got landman jobs. They all left and they went down to Dallas, okay? I guarantee you someone in this room has a buddy, a colleague, a friend, somebody that lives in Dallas. They loved it for about 5 years. And this was about 20 years ago. They loved it. They hate it today. Dealing with what they're an hour and a half, 2 hours to and from work. I got multiple buddies that are on a year-long waiting list to get their kids into a decent school. I mean, the quality of life has completely shifted in Dallas versus Oklahoma. But if we, the state of Oklahoma, are not in Dallas talking to young families, hey, you can actually afford a house in Oklahoma. They don't know what a backyard is, most of these young professionals. Yeah, I get it. They may make a little bit more money, but when you show them the value proposition, they're not. They're really not. But if we don't make that pitch to those kids, by the way, the largest alumni associations for OU and OSU are in Dallas. Imagine that, right? So they're cheering for us every weekend. They're doing this every weekend. But if we're not talking to them, guess who is? Bentonville, Arkansas is. Des Moines, Iowa is. Lincoln, Nebraska is. Because again, I'm telling you, the net migration to the middle of the country, that doesn't mean they're all moving to Oklahoma. But it does mean that there are people that are moving to the middle of the country, and yes, that state down there that is full, they're looking at somewhere else to move to. And if we're not making that pitch, I'm telling you right now, they will go elsewhere. It's why I have billboards on the most busy highways in Dallas right now that said if you lived in Oklahoma, you'd be home by now. There you go. You're starting to get it. You're starting to get it. Listen, and the superintendent knows this. Texas is in our state every month, stealing our teachers and stealing our businesses. And we should be territorial about that. We should be very territorial about that. They're unapologetic about coming into Oklahoma and taking our teachers and taking our businesses. And it is way past time, certainly for us to be making a commitment to public education in the state of Oklahoma. But on top of that commitment to public education, of bragging about what we actually are doing well here while fixing problems at 23rd and Lincoln. Because Texas has all the same problems we have, folks. Arkansas's got all the same problems we got. Kansas, all the same problems we got. But they're also in our state, trying to, again, do exactly what we're trying to do, keep our homegrown boys and girls here and provide jobs and a wealth of opportunity for them. So when it comes to commerce, there's 2 areas very, very quickly. It's 12:30. Who's going to, Houston, where'd you go? How much, 10 minutes? How much? Okay, all right. Well, just you give me the hook. I don't know if you have more.
We try to get out there by morning.
Oh, okay. Well, you got more business to do?
I've got a few now.
All right. I'll be quick. The two areas that I do want you to know that I am tackling when it comes, because I know we got growing pains here. I get it. I am doing a workforce tour right now around the state of Oklahoma, and two areas in particular. I'm pulling up this note right now. Child care services, affordable housing are two areas that every community that I'm going to, we're having conversations about, hey, can we lure a developer to this town? If not, why not? What is your child care footprint in your community? And I can tell you right now, I got the latest update from DHS this morning. Certainly love what the Cherokee Nation is doing right across the street, for goodness sakes, when it comes to that child care footprint. But your current footprint, total capacity for all your child care programs in the Pryor area, 504 slots. So you got about 504 slots. Capacity for family child care homes, so you got 76 homes. Capacity for child care centers, about 428. Your quality rating system, you got 7 one-star facilities here in Oklahoma, here in Pryor, 1 2-star, 2 4-star facilities, and you have 5 5-star facilities. There's not a community that I go to, and that includes Tulsa and Oklahoma City, by the way, that is not, you couldn't really define as a child care desert. But what those child care centers have just as many problems as every other small business owner in this room, though. It's finding a quality workforce. It's finding somebody that will work there. And many of these child care facilities, less than $12 an hour. And so this is something that DHS, or our Department of Human Services, licenses all of those child care facilities. They gave $80 million, and you need to know this, they gave $80 million to child care facilities during COVID. And some of these startup child care desert grants. I'm here to say that money's gone. That one-time funny money that the federal government gave every state during COVID, that $80 million has been spent, it is gone. And so why we are doing health tests in every community is because I don't want you showing up on Monday morning to drop your kids off at a child care center in Pryor, and that child care center is now closed because they've run out of the ARPA dollars, and they didn't put a business plan together over the last year and a half, 2 years, to be able to financially have a sustainable business plan and model. And we were just in Grove doing a workforce tour. We had a couple great child care centers that gave us some really good feedback there. But I want you to know, I'm not here just to check a box and say, hey, child care matters, and not actually try to address the problem. We have 3 pieces of legislation this session, a few very good incentives for these child care center providers that we think are going to be very helpful moving forward. And I will make sure, Houston, I'll make sure to get you some of that legislation so you can kind of push that out, because I really need you advocating with your state reps and state senators right now when it comes to those child care centers. We understand what a game changer that is for a community. In Pryor, with as much as you all are growing, there may not be a more important city in the state of Oklahoma when it comes to, again, making sure we meet the demands of a workforce that I know we're going to need right here in the Pryor area. The other piece is this housing piece. And I like what I'm seeing, visibly seeing. But I was just talking to Dave about this. I go to many communities, Pryor's not one of them, but I'll go to many communities that don't have the assets that you all have. Ponca City, for example. They were at the Capitol last year and they said, listen, we're out of the economic development game. There's literally not a home for sale, single family home for sale in Ponca City. And we can't get a developer to come to Ponca City and build an apartment complex like I saw across the street. So we're out. So because we had many rural communities deliver that message to legislators, they created the Oklahoma Housing Stability Act, put about $200 million, pooling about $200 million together. And it's really to incentivize a developer. 75% of that money has to be spent in rural Oklahoma. That money could be leveraged here in Pryor. So and it just launched about 30 days ago. There's many communities that don't even know that this exists yet. So I'm kind of starting to deliver the message. The rules have been signed into law, but again, Houston, I'll get you the one-pager on this and where to send folks. But 75% of this $200 million, and again, it's an incentive for a developer who says, okay, now maybe I can make money building this housing division or building this apartment complex in Holdenville, Oklahoma, when previous I couldn't. Because I want you to hear me on that too. I'm an incentive guy where it works, where there's an ROI. I want to invest in communities where it is helpful to communities. Because Durant, for example, the front door to Dallas, Durant, Oklahoma, I was there last week. A lot of these problems aren't sexy problems. They told me, Matt, we would have more housing in the city of Durant if we didn't have a 10-inch water line that ran right through the middle of downtown Durant. They have 100-year-old infrastructure is what I'm getting at. And I see a few heads nodding. Because a lot of the problems that a lot of our communities have across the state of Oklahoma, it's infrastructure. It's this infrastructure that's been in place for 50 to, again, many communities over 100 years. And I believe it is a state's responsibility. We're going to partner with the Choctaw Nation, the state of Oklahoma, and the city. When we can work together, we can fix a water line issue that will lure a developer to Durant to create more jobs. So if you want to connect A to Z, that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? A lot of the problems, a lot of the above-the-fold headlines that you're seeing in newspapers are not the issues that we're really dealing with down at 23rd and Lincoln. It's getting a hazmat facility over in Mid-America. It's getting a 10-inch water line expanded in Durant. Those are the issues that I'll take those phone calls on the first ring, because I know those are the ways that we're going to grow this state the right way. And I'll end on that, because where are we going? I'll just tell you. I mean, I'm a data guy. I look at data. I look at where we currently are as a state. We have 4,100,000, little over 4 million people in the state of Oklahoma. We filled out the census about a year and a half ago. Don't tell me if you did not fill out that census. That's a very big deal for the state of Oklahoma. We count everybody in the country every 10 years. And when we counted everybody, we actually had less than 4 million people. We announced about 3.9 million people in the state. We now have over 4 million because, as I told you, we're growing fairly rapidly. But we did not grow enough over the last 10 years to pick up our 6th congressional seat back. So Frank Lucas still represents from Guyman to Sapulpa. It's the 2nd largest congressional district in the entire country. That's my helicopter here to pick me up. So I'm joking. 2nd largest congressional district in the entire country. So we didn't grow enough. We should be honest with ourselves that we didn't grow enough over the last 10 years. We grew in Oklahoma City, we grew in Tulsa, we grew some, yes, in Pryor. We lost 75,000 people in rural Oklahoma. We lost population in about 2/3 of our counties over the last 10 years. And this has really been the message that I've been I am delivering to communities across the state is, listen, every Republican, Democrat, and Independent should be able to rally around that as well. How do we keep, again, priority number 1 is keeping small business owners that are already in Oklahoma happy, okay? You all are Oklahomans by choice. You're raising your families here, putting them in great public schools here. That's priority number 1. But we know there's a net migration happening. Let's make sure that we fill up the state the right way. But the magic number, folks, needs to be in the 4.3 to 4.4 million range, 4.4 million people range. If we don't cast a vision, then somebody will be in front of this podium in front of you all in about 8.5 years, and they'll say, well, we grew by about another 200,000 people, and we didn't grow enough to get our 6th congressional seat back, so we'll try again over this next decade. And what I'm trying to leave behind to communities is, listen, that Oklahoma just being okay is unacceptable to me. We put that on the license plate for far too long, okay? And I get it. I like the Broadway musical too. But Oklahoma is better than just okay. And if we're not working with, again, sovereign to the Main Street, again, city to the state, and figuring out ways that we can grow, working with the 8th largest industrial park in the entire world, then we're going to be on this hamster wheel, and we're going to wake up and we will not have grown the way that we needed to grow. And by the way, that means keeping one more homegrown boy or girl in the state of Oklahoma, because when they leave, you get it. A lot of times they don't come home. Thank God my girl just decided for OU over Arkansas. She was about on her way to Arkansas, and I do not want her to marry an Arkansas boy, and so thank God she picked OU. So again, don't get me on that soapbox, but it's kind of the Jesus take the wheel moment in our house the last 6 months. But you all get it. You're raising up boys and girls here. Again, I've got 4 of them in my house, and I'm territorial about that. and I want to give them opportunities here in this state. But if you send your state reps and state senators down to the Capitol without giving them a vision of what you want in Pryor, good luck. Good luck. But I'm very optimistic. And again, that word that I used, the momentum that we have. We've been blessed as a state, folks, to be where we are in 2024 as a state. But with that responsibility, with that momentum, it does come a responsibility to do it the right way. And doing it the right way, again, means rallying together. We got a lot of problems, just like every other state. But I know that we can address and work on every single one of them if we rally together like rooms like this. So it truly has been an honor to be with you here. I would much rather be here and not at the state capitol. But I am having to go back to the state capitol later this afternoon. But I've got 10 minutes to rapid fire any questions at me that you would like. But again, I want to say first off, thank you for being here today and hearing a little bit of an update on what's going on in the state of Oklahoma. So with that, questions that anybody has? I couldn't have answered everything for you. Yeah. Yes.
I don't have a question. I just want to say I did not pay him to say all the names.
Sounds good. It worked out for me.
You go talk to the next generation, really anyone for that matter, but certainly if you want next generation talent in Pryor, if you want folks to be happy living in you have to have thriving main streets. That is what they're demanding. They're demanding, again, that quality of life, that nightlife, that restaurant, art scene. And by the way, that doesn't mean, well, we've got Tulsa 45 minutes down the road. That's not what that means. That means having, again, retail, shopping local options right here. You got to have it. And I'm seeing that investment here. I'm seeing that, but there's a lot of communities that investment is not happening. And guess what? Those towns are dying on a vine, folks, because they're not creating that sales tax that they have to create. So I would say it anywhere, but yes, I did know that you all were here, but I say it everywhere that I go. Yeah.
Do you have an update on the American Heartland?
Update on American Heartland. There it is. There's the question. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. I was probably still going to bring it up if no one did. When you see me with a hard hat on and a shovel in the newspaper somewhere, you'll know that this thing is happening. Are we working with the very good folks that are behind this project? Yes. Are there still a lot of hoops that we have to jump through? Oh, yes. And I know that's kind of a two-phase, well, it's a whole lot more phases than that, but you've got the RV 3-pony operation, and then, of course, you have American Heartland, which is the $2 billion investment. That you do have the Mansion Group that is ready to invest. That money is real. We know it's real. We know that they are actively working in Oklahoma, in the area to make that a reality. But they do need help from the state of Oklahoma. They do. From a roads and bridges and basic infrastructure perspective. Tens of millions of dollars. And so right now, the next update is probably going to be what is going to be accomplished this legislative session from legislators to appropriate to make an effort. It's in the $30 to $40 million range right now is the last number that I saw of a state appropriation investment in that project. Most of that's roads, bridges, sewer work. Okay, again, getting back to what I told you about Durant, it's just basic infrastructure in a lot of those areas. And I'm fairly confident that we're going to get there. This timeline of getting this done by the Route 66 Centennial in November of 26, I think that's going to be pushed a little bit. But the biggest point that I would make is we're working with them literally on a daily basis, answering questions. We got project managers. We're trying our best, but it is a very big lift, I will say. Project costs have changed. That was the latest, I think, article in the paper. Certainly with inflation and those type of efforts, when you're talking about building the next Disney World and that kind of infrastructure, those costs, that's problematic on staying on deadlines. But the state of Oklahoma is committed to them. We will be a financial partner in this as well, but we still got a long way to go. Still got a long way to go. Yeah. Yes.
I guess it's me.
Yeah, blue
My
shirt.
wife and I own an alpaca business, a successful one at Grand Lake, between Grove and Jay.
I know it.
Huh?
I know it. I know which one you're talking about.
I think your family's been.
My kids have been out there. Yes.
They claim to be.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but I know about it. Yes. Yeah.
I've tried for about 2 years to get a sign out on Route 59.
Okay.
leading to 127, telling people that the ranch exists.
All right.
I filled out the paperwork.
You're speaking my language. 59 and what?
Highway 59 and State Route 127. I contacted the tourism office inside the Department of Transportation. I filled out the paperwork.
Yep.
They told me to go online. I filled out everything online. And then they said they'd get back to me. I called them back and nothing has happened at all. They're now very friendly, but there's just, there's a problem there.
When was that? How long ago did you have that conversation?
The last conversation would have been in November.
Of last year?
And I called again a month ago.
Okay.
I know there have been personnel changes.
I got you.
I heard maybe they're not
I got you.
eligible, but just let me know that. They said they would love to
I-
come by, nothing happened.
Listen, you not to get on my soapbox. I don't have time, but Amanda's laughing because she knows where I'm going. That right there. And again, I like our Department of Tourism. I think that great people, but you have over 200 government agencies inside the state of Oklahoma. I told you the story of the fishing trail, and I also was the guy that fixed all the Welcome to Oklahoma signs, and I did that within the first 6 months of getting in office. And that was me just picking up the phone and calling the Department of Transportation. And it's a funny story. They thought it was a prank call. Because I said, I'm a lieutenant governor. I'm calling for seriously, like day 3 on the job 5 years ago. And they thought it was a prank call. It is these state agencies that are siloed off. They got a lot going on. But things inside of state government, it is one of my biggest frustrations because I came from the private sector. It is painful how slow things sometimes are. But a lot of the times it's getting connected with the right person to break up that log. That's why I'm doing this workforce tour around the state, and I'm bringing DHS with me. I'm bringing our Oklahoma Works offices with me because a lot of the people that are at these workforce tours, they've never met the Department of Commerce regional person that is actually supposed to be promoting their district. They've never met the DHS person that actually licenses the child. And I mean, the comment that I heard last week in Durant was that this is the best meeting I've been in 5 years because I'm actually talking to people that are actually able to make those decisions. So I'll get with you after this because there's another group. It's actually the Tourism Directional Sign Committee through the Department of Transportation that I can work with you on. Tourism has to hand the baton off to the Department of Transportation. That may be where the hang-up is. Yeah. And I want a ticket to come see some alpacas if I can get that sign up. Is that a deal? That's a deal. All right. I don't think that was illegal what I just did, but yes. What other questions? We can't end on that. Yes, keep going. Yeah.
Are there plans to open the welcome centers that have been closed across the state?
Yeah. So welcome centers. That was also one of my projects. So I say all the welcome centers, the big ones. Okay, the ones when you come into the state. 5 years ago, you had the halfway falling over "Welcome to Oklahoma" sign that was all bullet holed up. Drove me crazy. So we fixed all of those. Then you drive another mile and you hit the welcome centers. Okay, I wouldn't have sent my worst enemy there into those bathrooms 6 years ago. We fixed all of those restrooms. They're the best public restrooms, welcome centers in the country. We get rave reviews. We put dog parks at all of our welcome centers as well. People love it. The ones you might be talking about, there's others that ODOT has shut down a lot of those. I don't know if I would describe it as a welcome center though. We haven't shut down any. There's one welcome center kind of on the Arkansas state line. Okay, is that the one you're talking about? Little Kansas. There you go. Okay. We did renovate that. You probably all that new, yes. Dog park. Okay. All right. So that one specifically, we're looking, okay, that is going to be a partnership with ODOT, we believe. So When you come into Tulsa on 44 and you see that Pike Pass, we did the same thing there. So we believe it's going to be like that one in Catoosa. So it's going to be a little bit of a Pike Pass, a shop along with a welcome center. So we're working on that right now. Yeah, working on that right now. But that really is the only one in the state that has been shut down, and it's the one near you all. The rest of them are rocking and rolling. We're actually expanding most of the welcome centers around the state, but I'll get you an update on that. But ODOT they own it, so ODOT owns that. We've also worked with our tribes on a number of our welcome centers as well, so that it could be a partnership with the Cherokees. We'll see. Yeah, we're very open to those partnerships, by the way, with our welcome centers. But they opened a great welcome center in Bonita, which is fantastic. I think it's Bonita. Wasn't it Bonita? Yeah, really nice one. Really, really nice one. Yeah. Right on 66. That's right. Yes.
Cherokee Nation, Anna Mitchell.
It's wonderful.
And Welcome Center.
It's great.
Bill Rabbit exhibit in
Look at this saleswoman here. Look at this saleswoman. It's very, again, yeah, it's become a tourism now attraction along Route 66.
We've had actually visitors there from all 50 states
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
and 56 countries
Okay,
worldwide.
great. Yeah.
So we've seen bus,
Well, we need
city bus.
to get you in the Route 66 passport, because we created these Route 66 passports that are like
Now on it.
flying. Oh, excellent, great. We just printed those again, by the way, so those should be showing up for folks that get those. Yeah. Anything else? Yes.
Did I hear you promise we'll have the first Buc-ee's here in Pryor?
You know, thank you very much, Stokes. Thank you. Those Bucky billboards that they put up, I'm sure you all are seeing them. You know, they put the Bucky billboard up, gets you all excited, and it says 237 miles at the very bottom. They're driving me nuts because, yes, I get that question all the time. And listen, I'm not here to announce anything, but I will tell you, it is only a matter of time. We build Disney World out here. It's only a matter of time. So that's what I would tell you. Yeah. Right now, it's 237 miles from here. Yeah. All right. Hey, thank you all so much. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. Okay. Again, another round of applause for our wonderful Lieutenant Governor. I personally want to thank you for coming out today and visiting with us. I tried to get you last year, but you were a busy man. So thanks for taking the time to come out and visit with us today. So thank you guys very much. All right. Again, I'd like to thank our sponsors one more time, Mid-America, for allowing us to be here today in this building. I'd also like to thank our presenting sponsors, which is GRDA and MUB and American Staffing Corp. Our table sponsors, Mid-America, Health, Heat, and Air, Northeastern Oklahoma Electric Cooperative, and the Grove Area Chamber of Commerce. So thank you guys very much for that. I'd also forgot to recognize someone. So Sarah Wallace, would you please stand? She is our newly appointed court clerk here for Mays County. And then Amanda Reed, she represents the south side of Grand Lake at the South Grand Lake Chamber of Commerce. So Amanda's right there. And then Dr. Miller, our superintendent for public schools here in Pryor. So thank you guys for being here. All right, so the next event that we'll have will be the State of Cherokee Nation. So we'll have Chief Hoskins here be on May the 3rd. So that's our next guest speaker. And then we have our PACC golf tournament coming up on the 21st. Last year we did a 3-man scramble. Bad mistake on my part. It's a 4-man scramble this year. So, but we had brought that tournament back and had been gone for a while. So 4-man scramble, June 21st. Expect to see all of you out there with the team. And last but not least, again, thank you guys very, very much for being here. We have great things happening in this community and this region. Includes every city and town within Mays County, Grove, Langley, you name it, all the way up to Bonita and Miami as well. So Route 66 running right through there. So again, thank you guys very much. And I'll leave you with a quote I always do. Nothing is impossible. The word itself I'm possible. So thank you guys very much. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.